Welcome back to the Voices of Color Summit, where in honor of United Nations Day 2022, we are raising the voices of every nation so that their messages can be heard. Your host for this session is Kimberly Crow. Kimberly is the founder of Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel, the co-creator of Speakers Playhouse, and the creator of the Voices of Color Summit. She has another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away, Kimberly.
Well, hello, folks. I'm Kimberly Crow, and I am back. This time I have Treveal Lynch here with us. You are going to love his energy and his passion for life. You got to love him with that kind of a shirt that says, I am the possible. Yes. Welcome to the program, Treveal.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited, like you said, just ready, energized, excited. I've been watching and listening all day long. Amazing energy on this summit, amazing people. So blessed to be here.
Well, it's been a great day so far. We still have several speakers left, lots to do. And then we have our amazing wrap-up call, which we hope you all will join us. You can actually, everybody comes into one big room and you can raise your hand and turn on your camera and talk to us and tell us what your takeaways and gratitudes were. And we hope, and Treveal already told me he's going to be there. You're going to love him. Right now we're going to be talking about what is your sign, discovering the point of life. I'm looking forward to hearing what that means. But before we do, tell us how you became an expert in this particular area.
Yes, well, my journey of expertise began at the age of 20 when I was sitting in the back seat of a parked vehicle in an alleyway with my windows down. And I was set up for a robbery. And I had a gun put to the side of my head right here. And I had another gun pointed directly at my face. I was 20 years old. And the people who set me up for this robbery, they knew that I had $120 bag of marijuana. That's all I had. I had it pressed down in the front of my pants. And they asked me, and I won't say what they said. I believe this is a PG crowd, but they said some things. But the bottom line was, Kimberly, is that they demanded my weed 3 times. And on the 3rd time, I told them no. In fact, I told them no 3 times. And on the 3rd no, they pulled the trigger. And I remember feeling, I don't know if anyone in the chat, right? If anyone here live, if you've ever had a gun put to the side of your head and the barrel pressed against your temple, there's a feeling that you never forget. There's a sound that you never forget when they actually pull the trigger, because I could feel the hammer pull back and pow. And there's a pin in the gun that drops into that chamber, but the bullet never dislodged. But it was a sound that I'll never forget. And the one thing that I look back on when I tell that story is the fact that not only was he willing, this person that had the gun to the side of my head, not only was he willing to blow my head off in the backseat of a car parked in the alleyway on the west side of Toledo, Ohio, where I lived at that time. Not only was he willing to blow my head off, but the real kicker was I was willing to die. I was willing to die at the age of 20. For
$120 bag of weed.
$120 bag of weed. Because, see, I grew up fat and overweight. I stuttered. I had a mother that was addicted to crack cocaine, alcoholic. My father left me at 7. I grew up with my grandmother, but I was a latchkey kid because she worked as a registered nurse. By the time I got home from school, I was by myself. And the neighborhood, they just abused me, misused me, rejected me, never accepted me, as I like to put it. And so my entire life, I was someone's rag doll, someone's punching bag. And so by the age of 20, I was convinced, Kimberly, that I had no value, I had no worth. My life was worthless. So what makes me an expert is I know for the first 20 years of my life, I know what it feels like to believe that I have zero worth in this world. I have no significance. I don't mean anything to anyone. So I thought. And then for the next 25 years of my life, I'm 45 years right now, after receiving the love of God into my life and the acceptance of Jesus Christ into my life, I I discovered not only my sign, but I discovered that my life is more valuable than I could ever have imagined. I have significance, worth. I have everything going for me. I have everything within me, and that I am the possible. I am that which I am becoming. And so now today, it is my life passion after 25 years of working with youth, working with adults, working with men, working with women, working with anybody I could possibly work with, to prevent them from ever feeling the way I felt. So I'm a pastor, I'm a speaker, I'm a teacher, I'm a mentor. I've been working with people over 25 years. And so I know what people feel and what they go through, and the heartbreak and the heartache when they've never had anyone to truly accept them. So it is my personal experience, Kimberly, but it's also my personal expertise to find people and to help them to see themselves in a way that they would have never imagined possible. And so that's what makes me an expert. This is what I am. This is who I am. And you can't separate the two. This is why I'm here.
This story is just drop dead amazing. I not to use the pun, I apologize for that.
No,
It's
no
just
problem.
absolutely breathtaking. Thank you very much for your vulnerability and your passion and being able, and thank God you're here to be able to tell that story, and that there's another side to that story. There's the rest of what happened. So what happened that day in the back seat of the car after the trigger was pulled? What happened next?
Yeah, well, because it was a setup and it didn't go as planned. One thing I have learned about people who put on these airs to be, thugs or gangsters or whatever it is, 99% of them are just cowards. And because the bullet didn't come out, they ran between the houses. And the gentleman that dropped me off in the vehicle, he actually jumped back into the car and just in complete panic and chaos, like hit the gas and just sped down the alleyway. And the alleyway dumped into a main street. I think it was 2 lanes on both sides, traffic in opposite directions. And so he literally just ran into the middle of the street and just began screaming at the top of his lungs, "Get out, get out, get out." And so I just got out, and again, the part of the story that I didn't tell you was that because of all of the abuse and misuse, and I didn't even get into the part where I was molested by family members and molested by total strangers in crack houses and made to feel so worthless, that when he dropped me off in the middle of the street, I began screaming at the top of my lungs, "They didn't take what I got. They didn't take what I got." In a weird, twisted way, I actually took pride in not giving up the weed, but never in that moment realizing that I was willing to give up my life, and how it was so twisted of a view and a perspective that I had at such a young age. So yeah, that's kind of how that story ended. And I just kind of walked from wherever I was. I just kind of walked back to the hood and carried on my day, because, and when I tell that story sometimes too, Kimberly, it's like I went on about my day. Like that was a typical day in the hood. That was normal. That was normal. That wasn't the first time I was near death. I was near death 2 more times. I mean, so that was par for the course. That was just how it is. And so, yeah, so that's how that story ended. So
Was this your sign? Was this the sign that you needed in order to discover the point of your life?
no, hell, that would be too easy. No. That would be
That's
too.
not easy, Treveal.
That's just my story. That's just the tip of the iceberg about just my story in general. Like that's just one of many stories. But no. The point of life is something totally different. So
Let's
we
do
can
it. So
get into
what
that
is
later.
your sign? Discovering the point of life. Let's get into it.
All right, great. So let me ask the people online. Let me ask you guys this question. When this comes into view, what comes to mind for you? When
All
this
right.
comes into view, what comes to mind for you?
All right, so throw that in the chat box and let us know. I know it takes some people some time to get back to their keyboard and
Cool.
type it, but
Sure.
let us know what comes back. Okay, so we
I
got
love it.
expensive, bad tasting black coffee. Elaine says overpriced. Okay.
Absolutely. Any other ones? Any other ones? What comes to mind? What comes to mind?
Being on
Being-
autopilot. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Like
for me, it would be like, that's
Yeah.
a large corporation, elitist we've got. I avoid them at all costs whenever I go anywhere. That's a shop that I will not walk into. But only because I have in the past, and I'm like, because there's so many other ones out there. Cheryl says hipster. Okay. Why do you ask?
Yeah, why do I ask? Well, one of the things that I specialize in is the power of observation and the power of just typical everyday observations, things that we typically look over. Did you guys notice that you all gave me an answer and there's no words on this cup?
Oh, yeah.
Let that just sink in. Like, you all answered very fast, but there's no words on this cup. There's nothing but there's nothing but a sign, right? A logo, aka a sign, is nothing more than a sign. See, this sign, like all signs, the presence of a sign determines or dictates or indicates the presence of something else. Wherever there is a sign present, it points you to the presence of something else. If there is a sign, it means that there's something else that exists. And just like any other sign, it contributes to leading you to something. Now, some of us said overpriced. Overpriced what? Overpriced coffee or overpriced teas or drinks. Well, for me, a couple of years ago, I was in the midst of writing my new book, and my son got the great idea that he wanted to be a professional boxer, right? You know how kids go, man, one day I want to be a scientist, tomorrow I want to be a boxer. So I'm in the midst of a 1-year sabbatical. I'm a pastor, and I took a whole year off. And so I'm in the midst of writing my new book, and he wants to become a boxer. And so I said, okay, well, great. If you want to be a boxer, that's great, but you're going to have to kind of pass the test first. And so I want you to join MMA for a year. If you can dedicate yourself to that, then we can talk about boxing, because boxing is way more expensive. So I just wanted him to kind of prove himself. So long story short, we lived at that time in the city of Arcadia, California, but the gym was in Rosemead, California. I'm in the middle of writing my new book. I'm committed to this. I only got 6 months left. I got to get this book done. I'm in need of something. I have a need in my life. My life was 9 to 5, got off at 4, pick him up, take him to class. And I needed somewhere to continue to write because the time is ticking, the clock is ticking, and I got to get this thing done. I just want to preface the fact that I needed something, and I was in a tight squeeze, and I needed something to help me to get my project completed.
Okay.
And see, what happened was I began to look for a sign. When I got into the city of Rosemead, which I'm not very familiar with, I began looking for this sign because, see, for me, this sign indicated free Wi-Fi. It indicated, it indicated as a writer, coffee, so I could stay awake. For me, it indicated a quiet place where a writer could continue to write.
Oh, I love it.
I began looking for a sign. See, a sign will always point us to the presence of something else, something that we need. And so I want to ask you all to consider that you have a sign. The only question is, what is yours? What do you point people to? When they look at you, Kimberly, what do you think people point you? What do you think you point people to? Now, I already have an idea, but I want to hear from you. When people look at Kimberly, when they come into your presence, what do you think you point people to?
If it's not fun, it's not worth doing. I would hope that that's part of it.
Well, one thing you definitely point me to is a smile.
Oh.
Ever since I got on that first call a couple of days back for Speaker's Playhouse, ever since I've been watching all throughout the day, I just can't stop smiling because you have an energy that causes me and makes me smile. And it's real hard to have a bad attitude when you keep on smiling. See, signs always are contributions to something else, to the coffee industry, to the Wi-Fi carrier industry. They're always contributing to a greater cause, to something bigger and greater. We may not be able to really articulate it at the time or really identify it at the time, but the fact that I was just being pointed to a place where I could continue to write. I bought coffee, I bought tea, I bought crumb cakes, and I contributed to a greater cause because I was in need of something. This sign showed up and said, I don't even have to put words on it. If you just see this little green lady on a big billboard 2 miles down the road, hey, I know where I can go to get what I'm looking for in this world. And I want to submit to you that each one of you, I don't care who you are on this call, I don't care who you are, whether you're live or on the replay, your life absolutely represents a sign, and you send someone somewhere every time they come into your presence. The only question is, what is it? What is it? What's your sign?
Okay, I love this. So how do we know what our sign is? And what if we don't want that to be our sign?
Great question. Great question. All right. If you're taking notes, you got 3 P's. Here's my 3 P's to discovering your sign. Number 1, just like Starbucks. Okay. You know what? Let me ask you something else.
Okay.
Let me just share something else with you.
Okay. Ooh.
See this guy?
Yep.
Kimberly, where does this sign normally stand? Where do you find these?
Usually at a crossroads, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's my first P, position. Every sign has its own unique position.
Okay.
So you have a position. There's something unique and special about where you are located physically. You're somewhere in the world and you're there for a reason, for a purpose. My second P is, you think about it, what are the problems in the world that you cannot shake? Now, I cut the news on this morning, Kimberly, and I mean, story after story after story, heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. There are infinite problems in the world, but even though they're bad or they're problems, only a few really grab my heartstring, like make my heart pump. Like today, like really, there was some young teenagers, 2 teenagers, and their father was in a car, head-on collision. This is a real story, head-on collision, high schoolers. And they died instantly in the car. Because I love working with young people, because I have a heart for young people, I have a heart for Gen Z. It broke my heart. And I just began to pray for that family. It just really touched me. But then they could go on to the next story and they could talk about global warming, and I'll just keep on walking. They could talk about problems over here, problems over there, and I'll just keep going. So my second P is, what is the problem that you want to solve in the world? That's another clue to your sign. And then number 3, people. Now, I just said I love working with young people, and I have a heart to really influence and really invest in this next generation. And so who are the people that matter most in your life? See, because this stop sign doesn't serve everybody. It serves drivers.
Mm-hmm.
It's specific to a specific population. So you're more relevant, right? Because I jog all the time. And when I come up to a stop sign, if there's no cars coming, I just keep on going. Because this isn't really meant for me. It's really meant for the driver. So you have a specific people, a specific population that you really, really, really care about. And those people are who you've been created to serve. Those are the people who you've been created to be a contribution, not only to, but a contribution for. So you have your position. Where are you? There's a reason you are where you are, whether it's your job, whether it's the city that you live in, whether it's the relationships that you're in. You are strategically positioned by a greater thing, whatever you want to name it. But there's a greater thing at work in this world.
Totally.
And they've positioned you. So your position, your problem that you want to solve, and people that you really, really, really have a heart to serve and a heart to work with and to work for. So those are my 3 P's: position, population, AKA people, and problems.
I love this. This is so powerful. If you guys are resonating, give like a heck yes in the chat box, or a hell yes if you want to. I'm good with that. This is amazing. It's a really powerful way to discover your point, why you are here. We all like how many How many of you know your purpose in life, right? Your purpose in life. When I usually ask this question in a group of 100 people, and I'm asking it from stage, about a third of the people raise their hand. And I really think probably 10% of them feel like this, right? And the rest of them are like, I'm supposed to know my purpose, right? So I'm gonna do this, right? And I'm here to tell you that there are times in my life where I have not known. There are times in my life where I've really known for sure, but then it changes. Right. And I have a different purpose in life because I've either served that or it has served me. And now I've moved on. And I moved to something else. It doesn't mean that that problem was fully solved. It's just that I've moved on and now I'm ready to do something else because something else lights me up. I have not always been a person who enables speakers to be on a stage and share their message with the world. That is something I am super passionate about right now. Like, that's what I want to do. I want people to be able to share their message with the world because every message matters, right? It's just so important. And if you Google right now, inspirational speakers, you're going to get a whole bunch of white guys and 3 other people. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just that the rest of the people need to get up and share their message with the world. And so I'm here as a conduit for that. That's what Voices of Color is all about. It's not against white guys. It's just that the rest of us need to step up and say something. So that's what I'm passionate about today, but that's not always what I've been passionate about, right? That's just today. So if you don't know your purpose in life, or if you're questioning about it, or you're like, I thought I did, and then it went away, nothing's wrong in your life. You're just in the process of finding that. And think about what Treveal has just said. Who do you love serving? What lights you up? And then where are you in the world to be able to make something happen? Because the universe, God, spirit, whatever you say, has put you there for some reason. And what problems really are at the core of what you want to solve. So this is super, super powerful stuff. Magic has been unlocked here. This is really, really powerful. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for bringing this. You have a free gift for our audience, and I want to get to that because I know a ton of our audience is going to want to connect with you. The power that has been shared here, the vulnerability, the honesty, the story, super, super powerful. Your free gift is going to break my heart. What's my worth? Self-discovery masterclass. Let's talk about that.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. What's my worth? That is a question and an answer. And I'll save the secret for those who go ahead and grab that free gift. But what's my worth? That's a question that so many people are asking themselves, whether they can articulate it with their actual words or it's just a cry of their hearts, right? It's what's my worth in the world? Where we're all searching for, where do I fit in? Where's my value? Where can I have a sense of my significance? Where can I be appreciated? So we're asking the question, what's my worth? And the answer to that is what? What you are determines your worth. And I'm going to save why that is and how that is, because I break it all down in the master class. But there is a what to you. And I am so passionate about the three, I call them the 3 elements of the human existence: the who am I, why am I, but we've left out for too many years, and I'm here to change that. The what of our lives. What are we? Not just who we are, not just why we are, but what are we? And the what of you determines the worth of you. So you were born with it. You already got it. You don't have to earn it. You just have to learn it. All right, cool.
I love this so much. Okay. We have some other amazing speakers coming up. We have another youth speaker. I love that we are enabling our youth to be able to get on stage. I think many of us that have messages out there in the world, like if we've been lit up as kids, instead of being told to shut up and sit down, to stand up and speak, we could be in a different place. Uma Bamboo is phenomenal. You're going to love her. She's one of our youth speakers. Is health the greatest wealth? You're going to absolutely be bowled over by how powerful this young woman is. And also Diana Whitley is going to talk about hypnosis for radiant health and unstoppable energy. You're going to love them both. You might have one open on your cell phone and the other on the computer because it's so good. But hopefully you guys have grabbed VIP and you're going to be able to watch the replays because you're not going to want to miss them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head out because we're at time. But Treveal, before I let you go,
yes,
any final words for our crew? Don't make me cry.
I won't. No, I'll keep it really, really simple. The point of your life is to discover what your life points people to. That's it.
I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kimberly Crow. We'll see you back at the bottom of the hour. Cheers.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session of the Voices of Color Summit, where in honor of United Nations Day 2022, we are raising the voices of every nation so that their messages can be heard. For recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP gift bundle, upgrade to VIP now. If you have any questions or problems during the summit, email our support team at support@erfsummit.com. Stay tuned. We have another fantastic speaker coming right up.